Hello, everyone. I just want to welcome you this morning to our parent town hall. My name is Leonard Brannon, and I'm one of the co-founders of Seascape Schools, CEO, and also the superintendent. So we're really glad to be able to join you and have a conversation this morning as we're continuing to do this over the last several weeks now about the possibility of us going to a 4-day school week. So we just want to, again, be able to have this conversation. We want to share some thoughts and ideas.
Buenos días, gracias por estar con nosotros en esta reunión virtual. El superintendente se acaba de presentar, su nombre es Leonard Brannon, superintendente, CEO y también el cofundador de la escuela. Les damos las gracias, solo queremos compartir con ustedes un poco más de la información que hemos estado presentando acerca de la posibilidad de tener una semana de 4 días.
Before we go any further, I'd like to introduce a couple of those that are with me this morning. To my left is David Tequadle. He's a Deputy Superintendent and Chief Operating Officer.
Gracias, estamos presentando a las personas que estamos aquí. Mi nombre es David Tequadle, soy Deputy Superintendent y Jefe de Operaciones.
And to my right is Elda Rojas, who is Deputy Superintendent, Chief Academic Officer, which means she's in charge of everything to do with instruction on the campuses and at the district level. So again, we thank you for coming.
Y a su derecha está Elda Rojas, ella es también Deputy Superintendent y es la jefa académica de la escuela, se encarga de todo lo que está relacionado con programas académicos.
So right now we're going through kind of an exploratory process of exploring the possibility of going to a 4-day school week.
Como saben, estamos en el proceso de exploración para ver si la posibilidad de tener una semana de 4 días.
So I want to emphasize the fact that this is just something that we're studying. We're very interested in your feedback, questions, comments from our families. You know, in our mission and our purpose, they both state that our parents and us, that we are in a partnership, and we really value that partnership and want your feedback.
Queremos enfatizar que esto es un programa que estamos estudiando. No se ha tomado una decisión final. Como ustedes saben, nuestra visión y misión establece específicamente que estamos en sociedad con ustedes como padres. Por eso es tan importante tener su retroalimentación y saber cuál es su opinión acerca de esto.
We have some things that we want to discuss and go over this morning, and then afterwards we want to open up to the chat line. If there's anyone that has any questions or any comments, please begin to place them in the chat box.
Vamos a presentar un poquito la información de manera rápida, pero queremos también después abrir la opción de que usted pueda mandar sus preguntas o comentarios a través de la opción de chat.
So the first thing I want to talk about as we consider the possibility, some of the reasons why we're considering it. The first one is this, and this is really one of the most critical things facing our school and campuses and schools across our nation.
La primera de las razones que queremos presentar y compartir es una de las crisis y problemas que se están presentando a nivel nacional y estatal y por supuesto afecta a nuestra escuela.
As each of us know, and I believe you also know the value and how important, how critical your child's success is based upon having high quality teachers in the classroom.
Creo que todos ustedes saben lo importante y lo crítico que es tener un maestro de calidad en cada uno de nuestros salones. Esa es una de nuestras principales metas.
Research is clear that the number one indicator of your child's success in our school or in the classroom is the teachers that are in those classrooms.
Los estudios demuestran que el primer indicador, el más importante que determina el éxito de sus hijos, de sus estudiantes, es el maestro que está con ellos en el salón.
And right now, the state of Texas and also our nation has seen thousands and thousands of teachers leave the field over the last couple of years. So we're all struggling to fill open teacher positions.
Y como resultado de los últimos años estamos teniendo una escasez de maestros. Miles de maestros han dejado la profesión a nivel estatal y nacional.
So one of the first reasons, which we believe is probably one of the primary reasons, is that we believe for us to be able to retain and attract high-quality teachers, this 4-day school week would give us a competitive edge.
Es por eso que una de las principales razones que consideramos para esta opción es el poder tener una ventaja competitiva al poder atraer y retener maestros de calidad.
the market right now trying to hire teachers and find teachers is at such a critical state that many of us have now had to go and grow our own and train our own teachers in-house.
El mercado laboral está tan competido actualmente que muchos de nosotros, incluido nuestra escuela, hemos estado empezando a entrenar a nuestros propios maestros.
Many larger school districts have hundreds of positions that are open today that they're not able to fill the teacher openings.
Algunos de los distritos más grandes tienen vacantes abiertas, cientos de vacantes abiertas porque no logran encontrar suficientes maestros.
So retaining and attracting quality teachers is one of the primary considerations why we're looking at going to a 4-day school week.
Así que atraer y retener maestros de calidad es una de las principales razones por las que estamos explorando esta opción de la semana escolar de 4 días.
And parents, another very important reason, I would say that's on top of our minds always, is the well-being of our students. And as we consider a 4-day school week, we think about the opportunities for extended learning during the school day. By adding an additional amount of time during those 4 days, students will have the opportunity to spend more time with their teachers and peers in activities that will help them advance academically and also in social emotional learning. Right now, we have students who receive tutoring after school if they need additional support or interventions, or they're invited to come on Saturdays. By us having extended school days for 4 days of the school week, that will allow for students to receive more attention, more feedback, more support during the school day as they work alongside peers and their teachers to advance appropriately. Maestros, para nosotros lo más importante, padres, es que los alumnos tengan éxito académico y también en lo social y lo emocional. Al ofrecer 4 días de escuela por semana, eso va a permitir que los alumnos estén 1 hora más en clases aprendiendo y también desarrollando todas sus metas en cuanto a la lectura, matemáticas y las otras materias. Hay muchos estudiantes que son invitados a venir a tutorías después de la escuela actualmente, igual los sábados, ofrecer 4 días de estudios y tener esos 4 días con un poquito de extensión diario, van a poder recibir más apoyo durante el día en las materias y también en su desarrollo socioemocional.
Another reason that we're considering going to a 4-day school week is also to give back family time. We're looking at this as a great opportunity to give all of our employees, our teachers, and all other staff the opportunity to have more time back with their family.
Otra de las razones que estamos viendo es asegurarnos que podemos proveer a nuestros empleados y maestros un poco más de tiempo familiar.
Not only our own families and employees, it's important to give the family time back, but also for many of you, it would give you the opportunity to have more time with your children at home if you're able to spend that time with them on those Fridays that we would not have regular school.
Y no solo sería tiempo extra familiar para nuestros empleados, sino también para aquellos de ustedes que pudieran aprovechar esa oportunidad, se les brindaría un día extra si es que pueden estar en casa el viernes.
So giving family time back is important, something that we believe that will be very helpful for our employees and even for your own families to be able to spend time doing your doctor's appointments, other needed type of things around the house or that you need to do with your family, and this will give more opportunity for that.
Y repitiendo un poco lo mismo, el tiempo familiar es muy importante y queremos ofrecerlo tanto a las familias como a las familias de nuestros empleados. Dándoles la oportunidad de tener actividades como las visitas médicas o otras citas que se deben hacer muchas veces, que deben pasar entre semana.
Another reason is that we really believe that we want to work really hard. We hear more and more, especially with some of the younger generation of employees, that that school life or work-life balance is really very important to them.
También es algo muy común entre las generaciones más jóvenes, que un balance familiar, un balance de vida entre trabajo y escuela es muy importante para ellos.
So to be able to give our employees and also your own families more balance between schoolwork and also for your family time, we want to be able to support and improve school life balance.
Y de manera, para poder lograr un poco de este balance, por eso estamos viendo esta opción de las cuatro días, para lograr ese balance no solo para nuestros empleados, sino también para sus familias.
And I believe this is critical and one of the things that we would be able to accomplish if we were to move to a 4-day school week.
Y eso es algo crítico y creemos que es algo que podríamos lograr si nos movemos a este programa de 4 días.
And I mentioned earlier about the well-being of our students, and that has to do also with their academic achievement. We know that the number one goal for you as parents and for us as we partner with you at Cityscape is to ensure that all of our students reach their maximum potential. And when we consider the well-being of students, we know that outcomes matter. And so by offering a 4-day school week where we can offer specialized what we call personalized learning based on students' needs during the day. And for those who need interventions, we would invite them to come on Fridays. And so we want to make sure that in everything that we do, decisions that we make, and also in your feedback, that we consider our student outcomes. We by no means would allow for any student to fail. We want to make sure that everyone's on target, on or above grade level, receiving the supports that they need according to their development, because we do consider age-appropriate developmental supports from pre-K on through middle school. And so those are some of the considerations that we're taking into account and that we have at foremost in our planning. We want to assure you of that, parents. Para nosotros, familias, es muy importante como hablé anteriormente, del desarrollo académico de los estudiantes. Y otra razón que tenemos considerando es el mejoramiento de los estudiantes, sí, pero también su desempeño académico. ¿Cómo podemos ofrecerles más apoyo? Sí, durante el día, pero en vez de quedarse tarde todos los días de semana, en tutorías podrán venir los que necesitan recibir apoyo académico, podrán venir para apoyo o intervención los viernes. Y esos son algunos de los puntos que estamos considerando porque sabemos que esa es la meta máxima que tenemos, que cada estudiante obtenga el éxito académico.
Yeah, one of the things that we have heard over the last 3 weeks, we've been reaching out to our families, to our employees, discussing and getting feedback and getting questions answered about the possibility of 4-day school week.
Una de las preguntas que hemos estado recibiendo estas últimas 3 semanas que hemos estado teniendo estas juntas y otras juntas de forma presencial con padres y staff.
We also have done a parent survey, which we're going to put a link up here in a little bit to give you the opportunity to let us hear comments from you and also to answer a survey. But in all the conversation with parents so far, the number one concern that they have is, what are we going to do with our children on Fridays?
Hemos tenido retroalimentación y varias preguntas de ustedes. Estamos poniendo en pantalla la liga, una encuesta que hemos tenido, pero la principal preocupación que hemos recibido es ¿qué va a pasar con los niños los viernes?
Yeah, over 14 years ago, when I co-founded Cityscape Schools and we began operation, one of the things that I thought was very critical for our population of students is to be able to provide a full day of classes and teaching for our pre-K 3 and 4-year-olds.
Hace varios años, cuando se fundó la escuela, fue claro que una de las mayores necesidades que se tenía en la comunidad era poder proveer clases de pre-K para niños de 3 y 4 años, pero el día completo.
I did that because I knew that our parents really could not afford daycare, and I also knew that our children needed a lot of extra time on task earlier than later, and so we began to offer full-day pre-K 3 and 4 school from the very first day of when we started.
Así que sabiendo que nuestras familias es muy difícil que paguen por daycare porque es muy caro, desde el principio de la escuela se hizo el compromiso de tener pre-K de 3 y 4 años de tiempo completo.
I would say that over these last 14 years, it'd be a conservative statement for me to say that we have probably spent and cost us over $10 million providing these services, because the state of Texas only pays us for a half a day for having your children in our pre-K 3 and 4 classrooms. But I knew what was best for our families, and that meant more to me than trying to save a few dollars.
Y les puedo decir que conservadoramente hemos probablemente gastado o usado más de $10 millones en los últimos años proveyendo ese programa, ya que el estado de Texas no paga el programa completo, paga solamente medio día, pero sabíamos que eso era una de las principales metas y objetivos de las familias.
And so today there's no way I'm going to do anything that's going to harm or hurt your families financially, emotionally, or any other way. And so we believe that it's going to be critical for us to offer, and we will be offering a full day Foresight Friday camp that'll be free for all of our families, for those of you that work, those of you that don't have any options, no family or no place for your children to go. We don't want your children alone at home. So we would want to open up the opportunity on Fridays for you to bring your children to our schools.
Así que sabiendo eso, principalmente no se va a hacer nada que sepamos que va a afectar económicamente a sus familias. Es por eso que los viernes va a ofrecer un campamento de día completo para asegurar que todos ustedes que no tienen otra opción para dejar a sus hijos, definitivamente no queremos que sus hijos se queden solos en casa, pero que tengan la opción de venir a la escuela a hacer otras actividades de manera gratuita.
That program will cost us a lot of money. We're now looking for funding to help supplement and support that opportunity. We'll also be offering after school. We will begin to run our after school programs and the all-day Friday Foresight Camp.
Este programa pues costaría mucho dinero. Estamos buscando todas las opciones de fondos para lograr ofrecerlo completamente, porque también queremos tomar control de el programa de después de la escuela, que de lo que vamos a hablar un momento.
We've already reached out to our after-school partner, AlphaBest, and we are exploring possibilities of partnering with them to help us with the after-school and also possibly for our all-day Friday Foresight Camp.
Estamos en conversaciones con nuestros socios de AlphaBest, que son los que proveen actualmente el programa, para que nos ayuden a correr ese programa de After School, pero también el campamento de los viernes.
And for us here at Cityscape, again, our number one goal is that every student reaches their maximum potential. And with that, we believe that there should be no instruction time lost. Padres, para nosotros es muy importante, ya, como dijimos antes, que cada alumno reciba, que obtenga el éxito académico, y para nosotros es importante que no habrá ninguna pérdida de tiempo de enseñanza. And so when Mr. Brandon refers to the Foresight Camp, last summer we offered the Foresight Camp for 25 days of learning, and we were one of 2 North Texas districts who were recognized by the Texas Education Agency and also by the Wallace Foundation. A team came in from out of state and from Austin to visit our Foresight Camp. And they visited with the classrooms, with the students, with the teachers, and they were very impressed with our program. And a study was conducted where Cityscape was included. And they have reached out to us again to continue the study on Foresight. And so what we propose is that instead of having Foresight in the summer, that we offer it every single Friday. And when we say no instruction lost, we're referring to including academic support for those who need it, but also enrichment classes, such as we did last summer. We partnered with the Perot Museum, with the Dallas Children's Theater, and also the Anita Martinez Ballet Folklorico. So there would be classes having to do with theater, with the arts, with STEM, and we want to make it very interesting for students to come and learn, because we know that learning doesn't stop at the end of Thursday. It would continue, but just in a different pathway. Para nosotros es importante, padres, que los viernes se les ofrezca el campamento Foresight, así como lo hicimos en el verano pasado, donde combinamos ayuda y clases académicas y también de enriquecimiento, como fue con el Teatro de Dallas de Niños, también del Museo Perot y del Ballet Folclórico Anita Martínez. Fuimos reconocidos por la Agencia de Texas de Educación y también por la Fundación Wallace, quien vinieron a visitar nuestros programas. Ese mismo programa queremos ofrecerlo en vez de en el verano, que sea cada viernes, así sus estudiantes, sus hijos pueden venir los viernes, recibir ayuda académica y también tomar clases de enriquecimiento.
So it's going to be really important for us to hear back from you, not only today at the end as we open up for questions and comments, but also if you'll look, there is a QR code right now that is on your screen. If you could take a picture of that or go to the link on our website there, and we'd love for you to take the parent survey. And we really want not only for you to answer the questions from the survey, but we also want to hear from you about any questions or comments you may have. As we have been spending literally hours and hours over these last few weeks meeting with parents, meeting with our staff, many times you come up with things that we don't even think about, and so it's really important to hear you.
En este momento están viendo en su pantalla un enlace a la encuesta para padres. Es súper importante para nosotros que le puedan contestar esa encuesta. No solo hay preguntas que necesitamos conocer de ustedes, pero hay la opción de que ustedes también nos hagan sus preguntas y comentarios. Durante las últimas semanas hemos pasado varias horas reuniéndonos con ustedes en persona y virtualmente, porque es muy importante para nosotros saber qué es lo que opinan y lo que piensan.
Also, we will be having some upcoming meetings going into the month of March that we're going to be meeting on the campuses. I'd love to meet you in person. We'd love to talk to you. We've already been at all of our 3 campuses over the last couple of weeks, but we're going to repeat that and give you opportunities during the day and also in the evening to come meet with us and talk to us personally as we continue to discuss the possibility of a 4-day school week.
Tendremos también varias juntas el próximo mes donde queremos verlos en persona. Hemos ya tenido varias reuniones en nuestros 3 campus, pero nos encantaría que vinieran. En la pantalla están algunas de las nuevas juntas que vienen. Nos encantaría hablar con ustedes directamente y poder tener esta conversación cara a cara.
Parents, we also have on the website that you have there on the screen at Cityscape's website, the Parent FAQ, the Frequently Asked Questions, because we know that you have questions and we invite you to send in your questions, but there may be some that you can already have answered on the FAQ, so be sure to take a look at that. Padres, también les invitamos a que vean en la página de internet de Cityscape las preguntas y respuestas para padres que están ahí. Ustedes pueden leerlas. Si tienen más preguntas, por favor, mándenlas las preguntas porque queremos oír de ustedes.
So now we'd like to have you reach out through the chat box, and if you've got any comments, questions, concerns, or whatever, we will begin to answer the questions and talk back and forth with the time that we have left.
We have a couple of questions. First question is, when will the final answer be confirmed?
That's a great question. When will the final decision be made? We're moving as fast as we possibly can, but we also want to be very careful as we move forward to make sure we leave no rocks or whatever unturned of areas that we need to manage or take care of. Right now, I'm looking at the possibility of maybe toward the end of March to be able to make a final decision.
La pregunta fue, ¿cuándo se tomará una decisión final? En este momento estamos queriendo hacer todo con mucho cuidado, no queremos tomar una decisión apresurada y es por eso que estamos en reuniones constantes, porque queremos asegurarnos que la decisión que se toma es la correcta. De manera preliminar, creemos que para finales de marzo tendremos una definición.
But with that being said, I must take this to our school board, and ultimately the school board will be making that decision. I may take a recommendation, but they're the ones that must take a look at it, and must be the ones that will officially approve us going to a 4-day school week.
Aunque aparte de eso, nosotros este estudio va a generar una recomendación y últimamente los que toman la decisión es nuestra junta de directores. Llevaríamos la decisión con ellos, con toda esta información, y ellos podrían observar todo eso y definir si se aprueba o no. Next question is, what will be the schedule for Fridays, time in and out?
So right now we're, of course, taking in ideas from you all, your suggestions as well. But we plan to have availability for your students to attend from 8 to 6. Now, not all day will be dedicated to the academics and enrichment. It may be that, and we're studying several options, it may be from 8 to 3, and then after school care for those who need to stay through 6. So it's all right now, as Mr. Brandon said earlier, in this exploratory phase, it's all on the table as to what would be the best approach. Well, we definitely want to combine supports and interventions with enrichment opportunities. Padres, la pregunta es, ¿de qué será el horario de los viernes? Estamos viendo de 8 de la mañana a 6 de la tarde, pero el horario actual en cuanto a qué vamos a ofrecer de actividades, estamos estudiando posibilidades. Hablamos de ofrecer parte académica en clases y la otra parte de enriquecimiento. Quizás lo haremos de 8 a 3 y después tener cuidado de asistencia para los niños que se van a quedar hasta las 6. Estamos ahorita tratando todos esos temas, sus ideas y sugerencias son invitadas.
Another question is, will the quality of instruction change?
By no means. That's one of the things we won't allow. The quality of instruction has to continue based on our goals. Mr. Brandon mentioned about the board approving. It's very important that this new plan, that it continues on the pathway for growth and excellence. That's all that's our goal. That's all we will accept at Cityscape Schools, the top premier education for our students. And so the rigor won't change, the supports won't change. They'll just be offered through different modalities, different days, or the plan will be to continue the learning pathway all the way through Fridays. Padres, la pregunta muy excelente es si va a cambiar el énfasis, el rigor de la instrucción, y de ninguna manera vamos a permitir que cambie el rigor o el enfoque académico, porque esa es la meta número 1 en Cityscape, que cada estudiante obtenga lo máximo que puedan en su éxito académico. Entonces vamos a combinar las clases y el apoyo académico para los que necesitan, y también ofrecer otras clases de enriquecimiento para que sigan aprendiendo los viernes.
Yeah, one thing I'd like for us to be clear, we're not going to be losing any instruction time. We'll be adding approximately anywhere up to about an hour additional time in the classroom on Mondays through Thursdays. So we will be still following the requirement that we've always had for the minimum amount of minutes that the state of Texas requires that we offer all of our children.
Algo que se debe comentar aquí es, obviamente no vamos a perder tiempo de instrucción. Se está pensando en que el día se va a extender aproximadamente 1 hora cada día, y por supuesto que estamos planeando un calendario que va a cubrir los minutos necesarios de instrucción que requiere el estado de Texas. No lo cuenta por días, lo cuenta por minutos, y esos minutos van a ser cubiertos sin lugar a dudas. We have another we basically answered this a minute ago. Will the children still have an 8-hour day, or will it increase for those 4 days? And the answer we just said is probably going to extend like about an hour every day. La pregunta que ya contestamos es si los niños van a estar 8 horas al día, o si se va a incrementar su tiempo esos 4 días. Y sí, el tiempo de instrucción de lunes a jueves se espera incrementar aproximadamente en 1 hora. Another question is, will students need to stay all day on Fridays?
And that's something that right now, again, we're looking at the schedule, so we're looking to see the program. If you, for instance, enroll your child in let's say we were to offer, as an example, karate, then we would expect for your child to attend, right? So that we can count for the number of students who will be in that class when we hire a teacher. Another thing is we need to have a head count for lunch and snacks. So we will have an enrollment process, so we'll be prepared to better attend your students. Padres, la pregunta es si van a tener que estar todo el día el viernes. Sí es importante que podamos tener un número de quien contar para ordenar los lunches o también aperitivos, etcétera. Pero también si hay clases, por ejemplo, si ofreciéramos karate, tuviéramos que saber cuántos niños van a estar para poder contratar a un maestro de karate, ¿verdad? Entonces, en ese aspecto nos ayudaría mucho saber en quién contar, en cuántos números contar para crear estas clases.
With that being said, I do want to clarify a couple things. One is Monday through Thursday, those are going to be the required attendance times that the state of Texas requires your child to be in school so that you or your family or child will not be considered truant.
Queremos una aclaración ahí. De lunes a jueves son los días que sería necesario o obligatorio ir a la escuela porque vamos a estar tomando asistencia. Son los días que el Estado requiere que los niños estén. El viernes sería opcional.
Yeah, even though we will be taking attendance on Friday because we need to know where our children are at, and it's also very critical we know who's going to be there and how many are going to be there for all the reasons that Ms. Rojas just mentioned. There would not be the attendance requirement that the state of Texas puts on you as far as your child being truant for attending on Friday.
De esa manera, como se mencionó, es muy importante saber quién iría los viernes, pero no es algo obligatorio. Sí debemos saber quién va a estar viniendo por todas las razones que ya comentó Ms. Rojas, pero no si usted no lleva a sus hijos el viernes o decide que se queden en casa, eso no va a impactar su asistencia. Okay. Will this be a temporary program or will it remain every year moving forward?
Another great question. Right now we're considering this a pilot, something that if we were to move forward that we would try and work on it and see how it works out for say a year or two. And then we will continue to get feedback from our parents to see if it's really working well or not for you, if it's working well for us as far as all the things that we want to, how much success we want to see your children have. So we will be reviewing that. So right now it will be a pilot program, right? We don't know if we're going to start that this year in August, or we may start it next year and spend more time looking into our options before we kick it off.
Esta es una buena pregunta. La pregunta es que si va a ser un programa temporal o si va a ser un programa permanente para todos los años. Este es un programa piloto. Lo que queremos asegurarnos es que si lo implementamos, vamos obviamente a estar monitoreando, asegurarnos que las metas que estamos planteando van a ser logradas. Y por supuesto recibir a retroalimentación de ustedes. Si lo hacemos, queremos asegurarnos que año tras año se verifica. Algo que es importante es posible que si se pueda hacer este año escolar que viene, pero también es posible que necesitemos más tiempo, estudiar más las cosas y quizá no implementarlo el siguiente año, sino hasta el siguiente año escolar. Another question is, will there be more homework sent with the children?
It should not be that way, not more homework. What we expect is for students with that extended time of the day, Monday through Thursday, that they'll have more time on task to complete their activities. Now, we know that homework is important to reinforce the learning that's held during the day, but it shouldn't be additional homework that would keep students, up late at night, not that type of learning. We don't expect parents to become teachers in the evenings, right? However, we do know as partners with you that learning does not stop when kids leave the classroom. Learning continues throughout the days, into the evenings, and throughout the weeks, right? And so that partnership is essential, and we want to ensure that every student is progressing. So there may be some homework. It just depends on the activities the students are engaged in. It depends on if they have finished their work during the school day. There's a lot of factors to take into consideration. But that is an excellent point, and we will be discussing that with the academic teams and with school leadership. Gracias por esa pregunta sobre si va a haber más tarea de lunes a jueves. La respuesta es que no debe haber más tarea. Va a haber el día de aprendizaje, va a ser extendido. Esperamos de que puedan completar sus trabajos durante el día, pero también sabemos que el aprendizaje no termina cuando se van los alumnos de la escuela, sino que continúa durante todo el día hasta la noche, entre semanas, ¿verdad? Y a fines de semanas. El aprendizaje es continuo. Y que ustedes padres reenforcen lo que se enseña en las escuelas es muy importante en el crecimiento y desarrollo del niño. Entonces, si hay tarea, debe ser mínima o puede ser para reforzar lo que ya se aprendió en el día. Ahora, cada estudiante es diferente y si requieren más tiempo para completar su trabajo y no lo hicieron durante clase, es probablemente que les manden tarea para que terminen en casa, pero no debe ser adicional el trabajo.
We have another question. What will be the schedule for Monday through Thursday, drop-off and pick-up times? La pregunta es, ¿cuál sería el nuevo horario para de lunes a jueves? ¿A qué hora se dejarían los niños y a qué hora se recogerían?
Right now, we have some possible suggestions that we'll be communicating and getting out to you, but I think our drop-off time that we're looking at right now, the only times that we're looking at is possibly our Early Childhood Center on Lindsley at East Grand, our East Grand campus. They would be dropping off their students their kids at 7:45, and then also, but at East Grand, the main campus at East Grand, and also our Buckner campus in Pleasant Grove, would be dropping off children at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Ahorita lo que estamos contemplando es el Centro de Educación Temprana en Lindsley. Creemos que el tiempo de inicio sería 7:45 en la mañana, mientras que en EGP y en BP, en East Grand y en Buckner, el tiempo sería a las 8 de la mañana. What about pick-up times?
The pickup times would be for the Early Childhood Center would be 4 p.m. At the East Grand campus for the elementary schools, it would be at 4:15, and for the middle school, it would be at 4:30 at East Grand. And our Buckner campus, it would be from 8 to 4:15.
El tiempo de salida sería para el Centro de Educación Temprana en Lindsley sería 4, para East Grand sería 4:15, para la escuela secundaria sería 4:30, pero para Buckner sería 4:15 también. Another question is, if at the beginning of the program I decide not to enroll my child in the Friday camp, but change my mind later, would I be able to enroll him at any time? La pregunta es, si al principio del programa decido no inscribir a mi hijo para el campamento de los viernes, pero después cambio de opinión, ¿voy a poder inscribirlo más tarde?
And the answer is yes. That will be open enrollment. Now, do keep in mind as we're planning classes, let's say there's an activity with a theater, right? A children's theater, and they're preparing for a play, and the class has already begun, and they already have all the roles taken. Then we would have to accommodate if your child had not entered at the beginning of that class. And so that's the considerations to take in mind, but there will always be learning pathways. That what we're planning right now is that there's activities for every child. Para nosotros, padres, es importante que haya ofrecimiento para cada niño. No tienen que venir todos los viernes, o si no lo inscribieron al principio y quieren venir después, van a poder inscribirlo. Solo tomen en cuenta de que si hay clases, por ejemplo, si ofrecemos una clase de teatro y están ya en el medio de una obra, los otros estudiantes que iniciaron desde el principio, pues cuando llegue su niño va a tener que tomar otro rol, o vamos a ver cómo lo acomodamos, ¿verdad? Pero lo importante es que cada niño sea partícipe de las actividades que ofrezcamos.
If Foresight Camp is on Fridays, will there be a summer camp provided as well? La pregunta es, si van a tener el campamento Foresight en los viernes, ¿se va a tener un campamento de verano también?
Yes, we are planning, and that's still, again, we're in an exploratory phase right now, but at this time we are planning to continue with Foresight's summer learning program. It has been very successful, and we do believe in year-round learning activities for students, and so we will definitely be looking into that, and we'd like to hear your comments and suggestions on that as well. Para nosotros, padres, el Foresight Campamento es muy importante y nos gustaría continuar ofreciéndolo en el verano también. Estamos explorando esa posibilidad de continuar el campamento cada verano, pero todavía no es definitivo. Sus sugerencias y ideas también son bienvenidas.
A comment with a question here. Thank you for sharing about Friday's camp possible end time. Another question is about that is, what will be the drop-off time on that day, on Fridays?
On Fridays?
La pregunta es, ¿a qué horas se deberían dejar a los niños los viernes?
We'll offer 8 to 6, right, activities, and so 8 o'clock would be the time that school would start.
Empezaríamos los viernes, empezaría a las 8 y se pueden estar hasta las 6. Ya habían mencionado que probablemente las actividades tal cual de campamento sean de 8 a 3 y de 3 a 6 se consideraría como el after school que tenemos, el programa que tenemos actualmente. Those are all the questions we have at this point.
Is there anything else that anyone would like to ask, or any comments you may have about our 4-day school week that we're looking into? I just want to give you an opportunity if you have anything else you'd like to ask us.
Queremos dejar un par de minutos más para ver si alguien más tiene algún comentario o preguntas acerca de este programa que estamos explorando.
If there isn't any, I just want to remind you, please make sure you go to that QR code or to our website to fill out the survey, put any questions or any comments you'd like to have in there. I really want to encourage you to go to the parent FAQ and you can see a lot of other questions, things you may not have thought about. We will begin to add some of the questions that you asked today to this for the future.
Les agradecemos mucho y por favor les pedimos que contesten la encuesta que apareció en la pantalla y que hemos tenido, que está en el website. Es muy importante su opinión y les invitamos también en el website, va a encontrar un documento que tiene las preguntas más frecuentes. Ya están ahí muchas de las preguntas que se han hecho con las respuestas y vamos a estar agregando todas estas preguntas que estamos recibiendo con ustedes muy pronto a este documento.
We also invite you to tune in, continue to tune in to the town hall meetings that we're offering. It's important for us to hear from you, padres. Los invitamos a que continúen acompañándonos en estas reuniones de town hall. Queremos oír de ustedes y les invitamos que participen.
Also, we'll be updating you over the next few weeks as we move closer toward making a decision. So it's going to be important for you to join us either on these remote or Zoom type of town hall meetings that we're doing, or please, as we schedule these out and send out for the month of March to go to the campuses, I'd love to see you and meet you in person, shake your hand, and us discuss and talk about the possibility of us moving to a 4-day school week.
Les recordamos también que continúen asistiendo a estas reuniones virtuales, no solo para recibir la información, sino porque vamos a estar si tenemos información nueva, vamos a estarla comunicando en este momento. We have one more question that we have already kind of answered, but the question is, when will this take effect? La pregunta es, ¿cuándo va a pasar esto?
Right now, we're looking at trying by the end of March to come up with a decision about us moving forward with this. But the final decision will not be made by us. The final decision will be made by our school board as we make recommendations and we discuss with them the possibilities also as they look into how this would affect the future of Cityscape schools. And they'll make the final decision.
Ya se había comentado hace un momento que a finales de marzo vamos a tener una recomendación basada en toda esta información y estas reuniones, pero quien toma la decisión final es la junta de directores de la escuela. Nosotros vamos a recomendar qué es lo que se debe hacer y ellos son los que determinan finalmente si aprueban o no este programa. Algo que es importante decir, que se mencionó antes, es aún si se aprueba, podría aprobarse para el próximo año o podría aprobarse para el siguiente año o simplemente no aprobarse.
Also, I want to thank you for joining us, and also sincerely want to thank you for entrusting us with the most important treasure you have, and that's your children. And so thank you for joining us today, being with us, and also trusting us. And we look forward to some more conversations moving forward.
Les damos nuevamente las gracias y queremos de manera sincera agradecerles no solo por estar con nosotros, sino por confiarnos el tesoro más preciado que tienen ustedes, que son sus hijos.
Así es. Muchas gracias. Thank you, parents.